All right, what do we got for finally the robotic policeman? Check it out. Now has health up to 1100. He's tied for the biggest boy in the game. Tied for the biggest boy in the game with 1100 health. This doesn't really change the playstyle, and it's not like it's a huge amount of change from before. He didn't have 950 and go up to 1100, you know, he had 1050 and now he's 1100. So it's not like it's a big change. But it does mean that in some of these little situations, like, I don't know, say Cetrion's pressuring him with deadly winds, right? Now he can survive more, both because her deadly wind does less damage on chip, and also he has a little bit more life. It's just like marginal situations like that. My personal view on RoboCop was not that he was bad. I didn't think he was bad before. I didn't think that he was great, but I certainly haven't thought that he's bad. I think he's got some significantly tough matchups, but I think there's a lot of matchups actually where he's quite good, and at least even in some important matchups. So I wasn't looking for big buffs for the guy, and that's nice. In my view, that's nice. This extra health for RoboCop, it's kind of buff that helps him just kind of do what he does, but a little bit better. So a little bit better in all this stuff because he can get it wrong once more. Like, he can get it wrong one more time. On offense, he can get it wrong one more time. On defense, he can get it wrong one more time. So it just helps him do what he likes to do already. Right, 121 has 2 more active frames and 5 less recovery frames on block. I really like this change. I really like this change. And I like this because I think this lets him, in the same kind of way that like the health buff lets him do multiple things in a better way, I think this does as well. Check out the range of 121. It's pretty good. It moves him pretty far forward. And for RoboCop, being able to move forward is important because he's moving backwards so often. He's got a great backdash, and he wants to be zoning a lot of the time, at least with the variation that I'm playing right now, with like, this is kind of like dedicated zoning variation of RoboCop. So I find myself moving away a lot because there's this big, like, uncomfortable range where I don't really want to be as RoboCop most of the time because I don't have great tools there. Like, where back forward 1 begins to become unsafe in some matchups, or if they duck this, they can blow me up in some matchups, or if I did this, but like they did a jump in, then they get to punish me. That range is a little bit uncomfortable. So I want to be outside of that range. So I find myself moving backwards. And I've seen this in many other RoboCops as well. They get cornered easily because they're, you know, that's the kind of what they're doing as well. They're trying to kind of keep this distance. So he's got some forward moving stuff, but right, this is forward moving. This is forward moving. Like, he's definitely got some stuff. This covers a nice little spot on screen. He definitely has some stuff, but this is another tool now that lets him do the same thing, and I'm really happy about that. So I feel that this is going to allow me to move forward a little bit more practically in some situations. -5, I think. Yeah, it should be -5. So -5 on block. If I find like a down 3, it's my turn, right? I'm plus. They can't duck this afterward. You guys know how Mortal Kombat 11 works. So that means that I get to start a mix-up. The mix-up is like not super compelling because I'm RoboCop, even if I have the command grab, but it exists, and I'd like to have this into like, you know, that's safe. Cool. I think that's great rather than beating -8 and now I'm point blank at -8. And even for characters who can't punish that credibly, it's like a bummer. Right? So that's not going to be as much of a problem anymore. So mix-ups are a little bit better. You know, that kind of stuff is like a little bit stronger. You got to take it a little bit more seriously. And then on hit, it's also cancelable. So you get, if you hit confirm it, you can get damage out of it. You get full screen out of it in this variation. You know, you get even on block, just like another chance, right? And this is unsafe, but sometimes you're going to do that at the end of a string because you think that they're going to be like, oh, he's going to be -5 at the end of this, so it's time to take my turn. So you take the risk of like, oh, well, what if I entered in this instead? Or what if I entered in flamethrower if I had that? Or whatever, right? Like, you're going to take that risk sometimes. And that's a little bit more credible now, which is good. So mix-ups are a little bit stronger. So I think there's 2 main uses out of this. So this is like, you know, being able to move forward with a different approach is nice. I like that a lot. And being able to mix up in a little bit of a stronger way is nice too. And this doesn't make the character a great mix-up machine, but that's not really the point of RoboCop. Not really the point, so I'm okay with it. I think this is cool. I think this is nicely targeted. This one and the other one, I think, are both good at making it so that RoboCop can play his game a little bit better, without really changing the game. You know, you're not really changing your game too much here. It's just you can get it wrong once or twice more on defense or offense. You can mix up a little bit better up close, and you can gain space a little bit better in footsies. And because you have another forward moving tool now that's more credible, you're not going to get backed into the corner quite as often, which is a bad spot to be. So I like it. For my mind, this is a nice set of buffs for RoboCop, and maybe not matchup winners in matchups where it's tough, but definitely much more useful in at least some situations, and that's really all I felt that he really needed.